Welcome to Scripture Surge, where we bring the Bible to life in fresh, exciting ways. Today, dive into our epic Bible stories retold. Heroes, villains, and lessons for modern life. We'll retell timeless tales with drama and intensity, highlighting the heroes who rose by faith, the villains who fell to pride, and the redemption that ties it all together. Each story comes with key verses, reflections on their deeper meanings, and a short prayer to apply these lessons today. Imagine the dust of ancient deserts, the clash of swords, and the whispers of divine calls. These aren't just old stories, they are blueprints for your life. Let's start with the Old Testament heroes who defied odds through obedience and trust. Buckle up, this is going to be legendary. Part 1. The Old Testament Heroes. First hero, Abraham, the father of faith. Picture a man in his 70s, living comfortably in Ur of the Chaldeans. Suddenly, a voice from heaven shatters his world. Genesis 12 verse 1 to 3. The Lord had said to Abram, "Go from your country, your people and your father's household to the land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you." Abraham, then Abram, obeys without a map, packing up his wife Sarah, nephew Lot, and all his possessions. They journey to Canaan, facing famine that drives them to Egypt, where Abraham fears for his life and lies about Sarah being his sister. Pharaoh takes her, but God intervenes with plagues, sending them away richer. Back in Canaan, Lot chooses the fertile Jordan Valley, but it's near wicked Sodom. Abraham settles in Hebron, rescuing Lot from invaders with just 318 men, victory through God's favor. Years pass, Sarah is barren. They try human solutions, Hagar bears Ishmael, but God promises a son through Sarah. At 99, God renames him Abraham, father of many, and circumcises the household as a covenant sign. Finally, Isaac is born. The ultimate test, Genesis 22 verse 2, Then God said, "Take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you." Abraham rises early, travels 3 days, binds Isaac on the altar. As the knife descends, an angel stops him. "Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son." A ram appears, God provides. Abraham's obedience echoes through history. Reflection. Abraham's story teaches that faith obeys even when the command seems impossible. He stepped out into the unknown, trusted through delays, and surrendered his most precious gift. In modern life, what promised land is God calling you to? Maybe a career change, forgiveness, or letting go of control. Faith isn't easy, but it brings blessings that ripple to others. Prayer. Lord, like Abraham, give us courage to obey your call, even in uncertainty. Strengthen our faith to trust your promises. Amen. Next hero, Joseph, the dreamer who rose from pit to palace. Genesis 37. Joseph, favored son of Jacob, receives a colorful coat from his father, inciting jealousy among his 11 brothers. He dreams of sheaves bowing to his, and sun, moon, stars bowing too, foretelling his rule. The brothers plot. They strip his coat, throw him into a pit, sell him to Ishmaelite traders for 20 shekels. Dip the coat in goat blood. They deceive Jacob. A ferocious animal devoured him. Sold in Egypt to Potiphar, Joseph excels, becoming household manager. But Potiphar's wife tempts him. "Come to bed with me." He flees. "How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God?" Genesis 39 verse 9. Falsely accused, he's imprisoned. There, he interprets dreams for Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker accurately. Forgotten for 2 years, until Pharaoh dreams of 7 fat cows eaten by 7 lean, 7 healthy heads of grain devoured by 7 thin. Joseph interprets. 7 years of plenty, then famine. Pharaoh exalts him. Second in command at 30, Joseph stores grain, saves Egypt. Famine hits, his brothers come begging. He tests them, reveals himself, I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. And now, do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Genesis 50 verse 20. Family reunites, Jacob blesses them before death. Reflection, Joseph's integrity in temptation and forgiveness in triumph show how God turns betrayal into blessing. In your life, when wronged, at work, by family, remember, what others mean for evil, God can use for good. Persevere, your pit may lead to purpose. Prayer, Father, like Joseph, help us forgive those who hurt us and see your hand in our trials. Turn our pains into platforms for your glory. Haman. Our third Old Testament hero, Moses, the reluctant leader who parted seas. Born to Hebrew slaves in Egypt amid Pharaoh's infanticide decree, his mother hides him in a basket on the Nile. Pharaoh's daughter finds and raises him as royalty. Grown, Moses kills an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, flees to Midian. There, he marries Zipporah, tends sheep. At 80, God calls from a burning bush, Exodus 3 verse 14. God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you are to say to the Israelites, I am, has sent me to you. Moses resists. Who am I? God promises signs, a staff to serpent, leprous hand healed. With Aaron, he confronts Pharaoh. Let my people go. Exodus 5 verse 1. 10 plagues ravage Egypt. Blood, frogs, gnats, flies, livestock death, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, firstborn slain. Passover, lamb's blood on doors saves Israelites. Pharaoh relents, 600,000 flee. He pursues, God parts the Red Sea. The waters were divided, and the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. Exodus 14 verse 22. Egyptians drown. At Sinai, God gives the 10 Commandments. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not murder. Honor your father and mother. Exodus 20. Moses intercedes when people worship a golden calf, leads through wilderness wanderings, spies the promised land but dies before entering. Reflection. Moses' journey from prince to fugitive to liberator highlights God's use of imperfect people. Despite doubts, he confronted power with truth. Today, when facing Pharaoh's oppression, fear, rely on I am. Your weaknesses are where God's power shines. Prayer, God, like Moses, empower us to stand against injustice and lead with humility. Remind us you are with us. Haman. Part 2. Villains and Redemption. Now, the villains, flawed figures whose pride led to downfall, yet often paving way for redemption. First, Pharaoh, the hardened heart. Ruling Egypt with iron fist, he enslaves Hebrews, fearing their numbers. Exodus 1 verse 14. They made their lives bitter with harsh labor in brick and mortar and with all kinds of work in the fields. Moses demands release, Pharaoh scoffs. Plagues escalate, but after each relief, Pharaoh's heart was hard and he would not listen. Exodus 8 verse 15. Even after firstborn deaths, he chases the fleeing slaves to the Red Sea, only to perish in the waters. His story ends in tragedy, but Israel's freedom begins. Reflection. Pharaoh embodies pride's blindness, refusing to yield to God. In modern life, what hard heart holds you back? Stubbornness in relationships or ignoring warnings? Humility opens doors to redemption. Prayer, Lord, soften our hearts like clay in your hands. Redeem our prideful ways. Haman. Next villain, Saul, Israel's first king turned tyrant. Anointed by Samuel, Saul starts humbly, tall, handsome, victorious over Ammonites. But disobedience creeps in. He offers unauthorized sacrifices, spares Amalekite king Agag against God's command. 1 Samuel 15 verse 22. Does the Lord delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as much as in obeying the Lord? To obey is better than sacrifice. God rejects him, madness descends. Jealous of David, after Goliath's defeat, women sing, Saul has slain his thousands, and David his tens of thousands. 1 Samuel 18 verse 7. Saul hurls spears, pursues David relentlessly. Consulting a medium at Ender, he hears doom. Falls on his sword in battle. Reflection: Saul's fall from grace warns against jealousy and partial obedience. Today, in leadership or friendships, celebrate others' successes. Full surrender to God prevents self-destruction. Prayer: Father, guard us from envy and half-hearted obedience. Redeem our failures into faithfulness. Haman. Next, Jonah, the runaway prophet. God commands, "Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me." Jonah 1 verse 2. Jonah flees to Tarshish by ship. Storm rages, sailors cast lots, pinpoint Jonah. He confesses, thrown overboard, swallowed by a great fish. 3 days in belly, he prays. "In my distress I called to the Lord, and he answered me." Jonah 2 verse 2. Vomited onto shore, he preaches to Nineveh. 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. City repents in sackcloth, God relents. Jonah sulks, angry at mercy. God teaches with a vine. You have been concerned about this plant, but Nineveh has more than 120,000 people. Should I not have concern for the great city? Jonah 4 verse 10 to 11. Reflection: Jonah's prejudice and reluctance show how villains can be us, resisting God's inclusive love. In modern terms, who is your Nineveh? Embrace mercy, it redeems both giver and receiver. Prayer: God, like Jonah, forgive our reluctance to show grace. Expand our hearts for redemption. Haman. We've met heroes and villains so far. Which resonates most? Heroic faith or villainous warnings? React in the comment section. Grab a snack, stretch. New Testament figures next. New Testament figures. Into the New Testament. Peter, the rock who stumbled and rose. Fisherman Simon, called by Jesus, "Come, follow me, and I will send you out to fish for people." Matthew 4 verse 19. Walks on water but sinks in doubt. "Lord, save me." Matthew 14 verse 30. Confesses, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Matthew 16 verse 16. Jesus renames him Peter, rock, foundation of church, but at Last Supper, boasts, "Even if all fall away, I never will." Denies Jesus thrice before cock crows. Weeps bitterly. Post-resurrection, Jesus restores. "Do you love me? Feed my sheep." John 21 verse 17. Peter preaches at Pentecost, leads early church, miracles abound. Reflection: Peter's denials and restoration teach that failure isn't final. In your life, when you've denied faith through fear, seek restoration. God uses the broken. Prayer: Lord, like Peter, restore us after falls. Use our love to serve others. Haman. Final figure. Paul, from persecutor to apostle. Saul breathes murderous threats, approves Stephen's stoning. On Damascus road. Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me? Acts 9 verse 4. Blinded, hears, I am Jesus. Ananias restores sight, baptized. Renamed Paul, he preaches boldly, faces shipwrecks, beatings. Writes, I have been crucified with Christ and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. Galatians 2 verse 20. Plants churches, pens epistles on grace. Reflection: Paul's transformation shows redemption for the worst villains. If God changed the persecutor, he can redeem your past. Live for Christ today. Prayer: Father, like Paul, turn our opposition into passion for you. Redeem our stories. Haman. What epic tales, from Abraham's faith to Paul's redemption. These stories remind us, heroes rise through trust, villains fall to pride, but God's lessons guide modern life. Reflection: which character mirrors you? Apply these truths, obey boldly, forgive deeply, embrace mercy. If inspired, like, subscribe to Scripture Surge, comment your takeaway. Final prayer: Lord, thank you for these stories. Help us live heroically in your story. Amen. Until next time, keep the faith epic.